All right, so as you settle onto your mat, let's go ahead and find any reclined form. You might think about where your arms and your legs, where everything can be that feels good to you. If you sleep on your back, then you might think of making an adjustment that's not quite how you would normally sleep. Maybe bending your legs or having your arms overhead, something that just helps your body know that we're not going right back into bed. And here you might begin to notice your breath. Follow it on the inhale, noticing how your body responds to it. That expansion that happens front to back, side to side, top to bottom. And on your exhale, the contraction that happens from all those same directions. If it feels of interest to you, you might begin to invite in a deeper breath, noticing how fully you can inhale, how dramatic that expansion can be. And on your exhale, same thing. How complete can this exhale be? Can you use that contraction to gently push out all of that stale air? Take a few more of these really full, intentional breaths. On your next inhale, let your breath kind of rebound naturally and find a more natural cadence, one with a little less effort. From here, if your arms aren't already overhead, go ahead and reach them and take a nice stretch. You might even catch one wrist and kind of arch to that side and then to the other. Hands can come down to your sides. Go ahead and plant your feet beneath your knees. Here we'll wait into all four corners of each foot and gently lift your hips just about halfway. Feel the back of your shoulders, the back of your head on the mat, and lower your hips back down. Do that twice more. Inhale to lift halfway or maybe three-quarters of the way. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, maybe three-quarters or kind of all of the way. And exhale to lower. Once more. Inhale, lift to wherever you'd like. Pause here. Maybe reach your arms up overhead, noticing what that does to your shoulders. Bring them back down by your sides and lower this down. From here, let's draw knees in toward chest and then straighten those legs up toward the ceiling any amount. Circle out your ankles, point and flex your feet. You might even kind of pulse your legs toward you, getting more into your hamstrings. We'll bring arms out to a T, bend those knees. And from here, let's find a little bit of a half circle with the knees, going toward one armpit, then the other, letting the bowl of your pelvis and your shoulders and the back of your head all remain heavy. You might even get some momentum into this. Let it be a movement that carries itself a little bit, trying to soften through your major muscle groups and let them have a little bit of a break. If you'd like to include your arms, you can act as though you're carrying a big beach ball. We're going to bring them to the opposite side as the knees are going to each time. Again, soften through the major muscle groups. Let this be maybe a little like messier in ways than some of our normal yoga forms. And if you'd like to add in your neck, you're going to let your head roll to the same side as your knees, kind of looking over that shoulder each time. We're just getting into the fascia here, trying to loosen up throughout the whole body. And we might continue this for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and bring those arms out to a T. Land your feet on the mat. Roll to your right side and let your left hand come atop of your right hand, palm to palm. From here, reach a little bit further with your left fingers. We're going to start to trace a circle up over our heads, back behind us. You might open quite a bit, keeping your fingers either in contact with the mat or as close to the mat as you can. The hand comes over your legs and then finds that path again. One more circle, just like this. And the next time your palms are touching, pause there, really visualize the right side of your body growing heavy, and then keep it heavy as you trace these circles. So you're not gonna open up, your hand's gonna hover off of the mat more, in certain places anyway, behind you. And you're finding these circles. We did 3 on the last side, or last rendition. We'll do 3 on this one. And then after the third, start to get your circle smaller and smaller. So your arm is going to be more and more lifted until it's basically reaching toward the ceiling above you, drawing these circles really small. And then from here, open that arm to the left, roll to your back, take a moment to bring your legs up, maybe find any wiggles or movements. And then we'll go the other side. So toes lower, lower your knees, right palm atop of left. And we can start tracing those circles, really opening through the body as we do so. After your third, let your palms rest together, grow heavy through the left side of your body, and then find the movement more isolated into your arm this time for 3 more circles. Begin to shrink your circles. Your arm will be more lifted. And when you've balanced out, open back up, come onto your spine, lift those legs up again, find any movement or stillness. And from here, we'll reach our arms up overhead. We're going to start to lift our hips through some momentum-based rocks. These might remain quite small. And you're thinking of kind of rolling up your spine, letting this be a little bit of self-massage. And you might eventually progress it to where you can rock all the way up to a seat. If that doesn't feel good in your body, then feel free to instead use your hands to press your way up to a seat. From here, root down. On an inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Draw your shoulders up, down, and back. And let there be some softness through your face. And try not to lever too much with our hands here. Might even kind of grow light in the hands. Inhale, we can unwind. And exhale, twist to the left. Same thing. Inhale, unwind. On the exhale, right hand lowers, bend that elbow, reach over with the left arm. Find an inhale through center and exhale, second side. Inhale through center. And on the exhale, we'll bring our hands behind us. Go ahead and tent those fingers, plant your feet a little bit wider than mat's distance apart. And we'll begin to rock knees from one side to the other. The next time your knees are over to the right, pause there, bring your abdomen upright. And from here, you might lean forward any amount, just touching into that sensation in your outer right hip. Come back up through center with hands or without. Go to the second side, abdomen upright again. Find that tilt forward, touching into your outer left hip this time. Back up through center. Can plant your hands behind you as you help yourself come up into a yogi squat. Might be a little bit early for this, so feel free to lift your hips, give your knees a break. We'll take one breath here. And then on an inhale, you're gonna think of shooting your hips back and your heart forward. So kind of coming into a forward fold with this wide stance. All right, hands might be on the mat or not, totally up to you, but we're just gonna find that again. So let's lower down and then lift on up toward that forward fold. Once more, lower down, lift on up. This time we'll pause here. You might point your feet more forward. There can be a lot of bend in your legs here. You might shake your head out, let your head hang heavy. On an inhale, let's halfway lift long spine. Crawl your hands to your outer right foot. Bend a little extra into that knee. Straighten a little extra into your left. You might feel this in your left hip. Inhale through center. We'll crawl over to the left foot. Same thing, left leg bends extra, right leg straightens extra. Subtle. Inhale through center. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, we're gonna roll our way up all the way to standing. Reach those arms tall. Up overhead, interlace fingers, turn your palms face up. Scoot your feet beneath your hips. And on an exhale, let's lean left, hips go right. Inhale through center and exhale the other side. Inhale through center. Take a moment here to maybe reach up through the heart space, really gentle here. Tailbone still anchored down. And exhale, forward fold all the way to the mat. Fingertips on the mat, step that right foot back, lower your knee, breath in, look up. And exhale, plant your hands, step it back. In this plank, you might choose to stay static, or you might find shoulder taps. It can be helpful to have a wider foot base. Tapping one set of fingers to the opposite shoulder at a time, just building some heat is all we're kind of going for here. Try not to sway our hips too much. Might go for 3, 2, 1. With all lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, land your pelvis. Greet this cobra form, the first one of practice. Be gentle. Exhale to release out. Find your way up and back to a downward facing form. And this is also our first one of practice, so you might explore with some movement here. You might settle into stillness. Whatever your body seems to be craving, honor that. One more breath here. And then use your inhale to reach your right leg high. From here, bend your knee, open that hip. Maybe find some little wiggles or movements, some circles or slight adjustments. And then look forward, we'll step that foot outside of the right hand. Lower your left knee down, let's inhale, right arm opens for a twist. And exhale, right fingers plant, left foot's gonna step forward and we're back to our yogi squat at the front edge. This time, let's lower right fingertips, inhale, left arm might lift for a twist. Exhale through center. Inhale, we'll open to the second side. Exhale through center. And we'll find some of the lifts and lowers again. This time we're going to do it a little bit backwards. So we're going to exhale to lift our hips, find that fold, and inhale to find the yogi squat. Exhale, lift and fold. Maybe your arms reach behind you for this. And then inhale, yogi squat, arms forward. Once more, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, yogi squat. Last one is just half of it. It's just the exhale. This time you might reach your hands behind you, interlacing non-dominant grip. Maybe letting those arms grow heavy behind you. Shaking out your head. Find your breath. So if you can soften around it. And as you're ready, your hands might release to your low back and unbind. We're all gonna roll our way up to standing. Reach tall. Interlace non-dominant grip again, turn palms face up. And from here, exhale, lean to the right, hips go left. Inhale through center. Exhale, lean left, hips go right. Inhale through center. Release your hands to your hips. Step your feet right beneath your hips. Root down through those feet, firming up through your legs. Think of your tailbone anchoring down. And then as you draw your shoulders back, you might move your hips forward any amount as you lift your heart up. Picture the muscles along either side of your spine evenly contracting from top to bottom of your spine. That might require you to kind of make some little shifts or movements. Inhale, inflate up, reach up. And exhale, fold it down. From here, fingertips on the mat, left foot's gonna step back. Lower that knee, breath in. As you exhale, find your plank. Pause here. If you'd like, you might roll your heels to the left and reach your right arm up. Maybe lower those hips for a little stretch and lift. We'll go to the other side. Hips lower to the right, left arm reaches up. Maybe lower those hips for a little side body stretch and come back up. Back through a traditional plank. Lower your knees. Keep your knees your knees below your hips. As you reach your hands forward for a little bit of a puppy form, we're just greeting this. One more full breath here. Press into your hands, round through your back. We're gonna ripple all the way forward into a seal form. And exhale, release down. Hands come back by your sides. Bend into your right leg. Really press the top of your left foot into the mat, your pubic bone into the mat. Squeeze that heel in. You might even reach back with your right hand and kind of catch it. You can think of kicking foot to hand or pulling heel towards sit bone. We're not really recruiting the back bend here, so just isolating into that leg. Release if you have it. We'll swap out feet. So the top of the right foot presses in, left heel squeezes toward glute. Potentially reach back with your left hand. Maybe experiment with pulling that foot in versus taking it away. Gently release if you have it. And then from here, we'll make our way up and back. Downward facing form, second time. Here, we're gonna lower our heels to the left again, but this time instead of in a plank, in our down dog, and you might kind of bend and straighten into your knees, feel that sensation in your outer right hip. Come through center, and we'll go to the other side. Same thing here. Come through center, left leg lifts up. Bend your knee, open that hip. And little movements, maybe some circles. And then as you're ready, step that foot outside of your left hand. Right knee lowers, inhale, left arm open for a twist. And exhale, plant it down. Right foot steps wide, yogi squat. Pause here, take a moment to scan through your body. Notice your breath, your energy, any sensation. I'll go ahead and open your eyes if you close them, and we're gonna lift all the way up, reach tall. Step your feet beneath your hips. Second time in the standing back bend, hands might come back to your hips for support. Firm up through your legs, and hips forward, heart up. Find your breath. Here you can even play with really pushing your booty back versus tucking your tailbone in. You can feel that feedback in your hands. And so that can be a nice way to kind of adjust here, thinking of, okay, anchor that tailbone down, let the bend come from the spine, not from releasing muscle energy on the front side. Inhale up through center, reach those arms tall. And exhale, let's go ahead and send hips back, hands to heart center for a chair form. From here, we'll tuck left elbow outside of right knee. Take a moment to explore the actual twist here. So you might have to draw left knee back, right knee forward. Think palm to palm, broad collarbones, looking up over this right shoulder. And then as you're ready, you can look down toward the mat, shift into your right foot, bend your left leg, and step it back for a high lunge. On an inhale, let's open those arms and bring the torso upright so we're in an open twist. You might stay here, or you might lower your back arm toward your back leg, finding a little bit of a reverse here. We'll all unwind, coming into a traditional high lunge. One more breath here. On your exhale, hands come down to your hips. We're gonna spring load this front leg, and we're just gonna step it back maybe a footprint. And then from there, see if you can lower your back heel. If not, you might need to step this right foot back a little bit more. We just want both feet to be fully on the mat. Right hip back, left hip forward. Hinge forward at your hips. Reach your heart forward. Elbows might be up toward the ceiling here. Option to keep your arms where they are, or to lower them onto your front leg if that feels more supportive. If you're really deep into this, you might even lower onto the mat. Just keep preserving that squareness of your pelvis. It's a nice protective factor here. One more breath here. Shift forward into your right foot. Bring your hands to the mat, crawl them wide, and then lift your left leg up for a standing split. We're just focusing on this front leg here. So think of hinging toward it. If you or to go all the way, maybe your right armpit would be by your right knee. Left leg really reaches high. And gently lower those left toes. Crawl your way to your left foot at the back edge of your mat and lower your right knee. Bring your hands up to your left thigh. And we'll create a little bit of pressure here with our hands into that leg just to open through the front of the right hip. Adjust sensation as feels good in your body. You might find little pulses. Sometimes that feels nice to kind of titrate in and out. From here, you can keep your left hand on your left leg. We're going to reach this right arm up and over, giving a little bit of a side body stretch. Think of your outer hip still hugging in here to support you balance-wise. And then inhale, come back through center, arms come out to a T. We're going to shift toward this back knee and try to hover the left foot up off of the mat. It might kind of hover and lower and hover and lower. And then from here, step that left foot toward the left edge. So now you're in kind of a lowered side angle form, or warrior two form. And from here, left elbow lowers to left leg, right arm reaches over. Slightly different way to stretch this. Inhale back to a T. Rotate your left toes to point toward the back edge while straightening your left leg. So now we're in that gate pose. Hips scoot down into the right. Lower that left arm, reach over with your right. A third way to explore this stretch. Inhale up through center. Let's lower to the right this time. Reach over with the left. Nice long line of energy from your left fingertips through your outer left foot. Bring it back up. And from here, we'll plant our hands forward. Curl your right toes under. Send your hips back for just a moment in this asymmetrical child's form now. And then bring it on up. Three-legged down dog, left leg is lifted. Rock it forward to a plank. Maybe move through a three-legged vinyasa. We'll all meet in a downward facing form. Okay, from here, let's inhale this right leg high. On your exhale, knee toward nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee toward right elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee's gonna go toward left elbow, but we're gonna kick it through. Land that foot, let yourself roll to the inside edge of your other foot. Reach your left arm up. On an exhale, lower down to a seat. It's kind of a weird seat. You're mostly on your right side. What we're gonna do here is roll that left hip closed as much as possible atop the right leg and face the back edge of your mat. You might lower down onto your elbows. You might still have your palms planted. We're going to think of lowering the torso as much as feels okay. Kind of a funky stretch for this outer right leg. Find your breath. On an inhale, gently crawl your way up. Reach your right hand behind you. We're going to windmill this left arm around and lift our hips any amount into this kind of fallen star wild thing hybrid. And exhale, lower. Hands come back to their original spot on the mat. Slide this right leg all the way back through and up. And exhale, step it toward your hands. Lower your left knee. Bring your torso upright for a low lunge. From here, you might shift your right heel forward so that you can set up for a half split. And we're gonna just tilt into it. You might kind of pulse in and out of this again. It's up to you. We're not here super long, but it may feel different than when we did our standing split. On your next inhale, soften into that right knee, curl your left toes under, and go ahead and lift that knee, crawl your way back to the front edge of the mat. From here, right foot steps forward, inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands through heart center. You might soften your knees, maybe close your eyes. Maybe rock a little bit from heel to toe as you scan through your body. Notice the differences between left and right sides at this point. And as you're ready, you might blink your eyes open. We'll settle hips back. Hands can stay at heart center for our chair form on this second time. On an exhale, bring right elbow to outer left knee. Take a moment to focus on the twist. That might mean kind of drawing left knee back, right knee forward. Broaden through your collarbones, look over your left shoulder. When you're ready, you can look down toward the mat. I like to kind of draw my belly in to support my low back here as I shift into my left foot and step it back, finding a twisted high lunge. Open through your arms and bring your torso upright. Either stay here or potentially reverse it, lowering your back hand. We'll all unwind to a more standard high lunge. Take a breath here. On your exhale, hands come to your hips. Spring load this front leg. We're going to step it back about a footprint, maybe more if you did so on the last side. Both heels on the ground. Square up those hips. Grow strong through your legs. And then begin to tilt your torso forward. Figure out where you'd like your hands to be here. But notice if we soften too fully, we might lose the squareness of our hips. So you might need to find a place that has some still muscle energy into it. Couple breaths here, following through your body. On your next inhale, soften into your left knee, shift into that foot as your hands come down and spread wide. So you can lift your right leg up for that standing split. Again, think of bringing torso close to left leg, right leg reaches behind you. Lower those toes down and we'll crawl all the way to the right foot at the back edge of the mat. Left knee is gonna lower, hands can come up onto this right leg. And you can add some pressure there to open through your left hip flexor. Maybe pulsing here, maybe finding stillness. Return awareness to your breath. Let's gently release left hand from that right leg. You can keep your right hand there. We're going to reach up and over, finding that stretch through your left side body. Inhale, come back through center, arms come to a T. This is where we're going to shift our weight back over this left knee. Maybe hover the right foot any amount. We'll eventually open that foot over to the right, toes pointing that way. Right elbow lowers to right knee, left arm reaches over. Inhale, back up to a T. Final leg positioning, right toes point toward the skinny edge of your mat. Your hips are going to scoot down into the left this time to level out. And then right hand to right leg, left arm reaches up and over. Inhale back up, and we'll lower to the left. One long line of energy from right fingertips through outer right foot. Inhale back up. On your exhale, hips hinge back, hands crawl forward for an asymmetrical child's form, just briefly. And then go ahead and make your way into a three-legged down dog. Right leg reaches high. Rock it forward to a three-legged plank and move through your vinyasa. From here, left leg's going to reach high. Exhale, knee toward nose. Inhale, kick it up. Exhale, knee toward left elbow. Inhale, kick it up. Exhale, knee toward right elbow. Pause here. Kick that leg out. Roll to the inner edge of your right foot and reach your arm up. Fallen star. And exhale, lower down to a seat. All right, same thing here. We're going to try to curl the right toes under. Roll that hip on top of your left leg, any amount. Lower your torso toward the back edge of the mat. Keep a nice engagement through your left leg, maybe flexing those toes. And see if you can find the stretch here. Return to your breath. On an inhale, you can crawl your torso up, kind of come to a more traditional seated form here. We still want the inside of that right foot on the mat. Left hand behind you, windmill your right arm around to lift your hips. That weird hybrid form. Lower down. Hands come back to the back edge. Right toes curl under. You might bend your left knee to create more ease here. As you unwind and left leg reaches up and back. This time as you exhale, left foot is going to land at the back edge. Right knee lowers, torso upright. Hands at your hips, set up for your half split. Once you've got your hips over your knees, you might begin to find that hinge. Hands can always come to this front leg, as long as you're pushing your leg back into your hand, not just pushing weight into the joint space. That's all that really matters there. One more breath here. On an inhale, soften into your left knee, crawling your hands forward. Curl your right toes under, lift that knee. This time we're gonna crawl just halfway to the right. So we're facing the long edge of the mat. Point both sets of toes out and find some organic movement from side to side. The next time you're halfway bent into your right leg, we'll go ahead and bring the torso upright. From here, you can bring your arms out to the sides, thumbs and fists, bend your right elbow, look toward the left. You might balance on your left heel if that's of interest to you. Think of shoulders down and back, jaw soft, sit bones drawn together. And then if we were to switch this, we'd bend into the left leg, straighten into the right, and switch the bend of the arms, looking toward the front edge of the mat. Shoulders down and back, jaw soft, sit bones together. All right, so now we're going to match that movement up one breath per movement. So inhale to the right, exhale, stay here. Inhale to the left, exhale, stay here. Once more, either side. This time as we inhale to go to the right, we're going to release our hands and go as deeply to the right as we can. Maybe staying in this half lifted, maybe lowering quite a ways. Just letting that upper inner left leg release. With hands or without, switch it to the other side. Bending into this left leg, letting the upper right leg release. Once more, either side. Staying for a couple of breaths each time. When you're balanced out, come back through center. Turn your toes forward. Inhale, long spine. On your exhale, we'll find that wide-legged forward fold. You can let your hips kind of move back in space. Let your torso hang heavy. Maybe catch opposite elbows or let your arms rest forward or back. Try to soften through your neck if you are letting your torso hang heavy. One more breath here. Use an inhale to lengthen your spine, look long. On the exhale, we're going to come all the way back to the front edge of the mat. Step your left foot forward and rise up to stand. Palms face forward at your sides, Samasthiti. Scan through your body. Notice any lingering sensation or awareness. If you're ready, we'll finalize our standing stuff and then we'll move lower to the mat. So I'm going to step back a little bit on my mat and maybe more toward the center. We're going to give ourselves some space to work on some adduction. So shifting weight into your left foot, bring your right foot across in front of you and out to the side. And you can always adjust how far apart your feet are side to side and front to back. We want to think of still squaring our hips forward. There could be a micro bend in the knees. And then from here, hinge at the hips. Maybe crawl your hands down this front leg. Some people really like to keep a hand, left hand on the front leg and reach this right arm up, adding a twist through the torso. On an inhale, we're going to halfway lift, long spine. Pause here. And then as you come all the way up to standing, soften into your knees, shift weight into your left leg. And then we're going to drag the right toes back until we can hover them and cross into an eagle form with the legs. Right leg's on top, So right arm is on bottom. If you want to find the bind with your arms, guys have backs of hands together, or maybe your right fingertips come to your left palm. Draw your shoulders down and elbows up just a bit. Gently release. Step your right foot down. Wiggle out your hips. All right, we'll go to the second side. So weight into the right foot. Left leg comes across. Find that squareness in your hips. And then invite the bend in. Fold, I should say. You might keep your right hand on your front leg and reach your left arm up. Hi, baby. Be prepared to release out of this. We'll start by coming to that halfway lift. And then as you come all the way up, soften your knees, shift your weight into your right foot, drag your left toes back until you can release them from the mat. This time, left leg's on top, so left arm's on bottom. You might find the bind with your arms, thinking shoulders down, elbows up. As you gently release, step your left foot down, and again, wiggle out through your hips. And then we can kind of move a little more toward the front edge of our mats. Hands reaching forward, let's begin to lower as much as we can without lifting the heels. You might be able to go all the way, or you might lift your heels at the bottom and then settle down onto your sit bones. Hands come back, feet come a little bit wider than the mat, just how we started. Windshield wiper legs side to side. When your knees are toward the left, pause there, keep your left hand grounded, windmill your right arm around, lift up onto your shins, and lower it down. Windshield wiper side to side. Lower your knees to the right, same thing on this side. Find that lift. And lower. Windshield wiper side to side. Come through a more neutral form here. We'll take a moment just to stretch through our shoulders. Think of tenting your fingers behind you, reaching your chest up. You can always bring the backs of your hands down and kind of tulip your fingers, pinching them up toward your wrists. If you want to get into your wrists and forearms a little bit too. And then really gently ease out of that. Right ankle is going to come toward left knee. And we'll set up for a figure 4 in a seated variation. You can always adjust how close your left heel is or how close your hands are. That'll kind of let you find the amount of sensation that you want in this form. From here, we're going to gently ease back. You might lower first to your elbows and then to your back, letting the figure 4 form float up off of the mat. Bring your arms out to a T, palms face down. We're going to experiment with moving the legs as a single unit, not quite until the right knee touches over to the right, not quite until that right foot would touch over to the left. You can move as fast or as slow as you want. Essentially just adding a really integrated supine twist here. When you have done enough of that, you can release your legs, kick them out. And then using your hands or not, rock back up to a seat. We'll go to the second side. Left ankle to right knee. Adjust your angles for your preferred amount of sensation. When you're ready, you can lower back. Arms will come out to a T and same thing, lowering almost for something to touch on one side and on the other. Trying to keep the shape of your legs as you do so. Feel ready to release out, do so. And from here, you can scan through your body and notice if there's anything else that would feel nice. Maybe finding some bridge forms to conclude, or happy baby, plow pose, a more distilled form of a supine twist. It's all welcome. Feel ready to settle into your final form of the day. Allow yourself to choose what would feel best. Is that seated? That legs up a wall? Are your hands on your abdomen or extended out? Let your breath do its own thing here. And let your job be to just remain present with your body and with your breath in these final moments of our practice. And witness without telling a story about it. We invite it back. Give permission to just stay present here. Not need to do anything else. Or leave this place of stillness. You might start by deepening your breath. Be with that. Add in little wiggles or movement. Taking a stretch. Let every part of the process of getting toward a seat be something you're completely present for. And take your time and method in getting there. From here, if it's a gesture that's meaningful to you, you might inhale your arms out and up, palms touching overhead. Exhale down to heart center. Or if you'd like, there's an invitation to set some sort of intention heading into the rest of your day. The light within me sees and honors the light within you. Namaste. You guys, thank you so much for joining this morning.